go.
Are we live?
We're live. Hello.
Oh my
Hello.
goodness. Hello everyone and welcome to All on the Table.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Trev and my pronouns are they them and I will be your guide for the journeys into the Haeth this evening and beyond. And we have with us today some returning and some new faces, some wonderful folks. But I'll let them introduce themselves. Viara, let's kick it off.
Hello, I'm Viara. My pronouns are he, she, or they. You can use any that you like. And I will be sending it over to Harmony.
Hello, my name is Harmony. I use any pronouns and I'm happy to be here. I'll send it over to our newest friend.
Hello, I am Ophi Draco. I use V, ver, vis pronouns or she or her.
Excellent. And so happy to have you all here today for our what is the start of Journeys into the Haeth, a new kind of tale that we will be spinning. And what are you saying that we are playing today? Well, we are playing the game, or we will be playing the game Wanderhome by Possum Creek Games. Ooh, we're doing a little plug right there. Wow.
Shiny.
Pick it up at your local game store if you want to check it out.
Ooh, you
It's
got
a
one too, Harmony?
wonderful game by Possum Creek Games and Jay Dragon, and we're so excited to have you all exploring this system with us. What is this system? Well, what it is it is us journeying into the land of Haeth, a place of many fables, of lost or forgotten gods, some that whisper, and you can sometimes hear them on the wind through the creek, through the river. If you just take some time to listen, it is a land of war torn past that has ended recently, but is not so quickly forgotten. And most importantly, it is a land of kith, the denizens of this world, animal-like folk that go about their day-to-day inhabiting the many communities and places one might be able to find and explore. Um,
That's
that's
us.
that's us, and that is overall just the setting. The journey, though, it begins with a conversation that we will take all the way to an end, maybe not necessarily the end, um, but kicking it off, our kith in front of us, you all begin to feel the wind against your fur or scales as your cart goes trotting along the path, a giant Hercules beetle pulling it along. The road is long, but ahead is clear. Um, so, who are these kith that we have among us? As we kind of camera pans from each of them on the back of this cart, driving their Hercules beetle to the next destination in front of them. I think we're going to kick it over to Harmony. Feel
So,
free to let's. So, what playbook are you picking here for your character?
the playbook I am using today is the peddler. The peddler sells their wares from place to place. The archetype I'm using, which is, there aren't necessarily archetypes in the book. You can sort of choose and design what kind of peddler you're going to be. But my character, her name is Clementine. She is a matchmaker. So she goes from place to place trying to find potential matches for the various creatures she meets along the way. She keeps in contact with clients via we have a system of mail. I forget exactly what it is, but I know that sorry. I believe possibly through bumblebees. Am I remembering correctly?
Oh yeah, bumblebees. Yeah.
So a bit about Clementine. So Clementine, her first and primary life goal is to find love for everyone. She believes that everyone in life is deserving of love. It can be a platonic type of love, such as true love between a pet and its owner, or the more romantic kind. She tends to prefer the romantic kind, but she's never turned away a poor lost soul. She has indeed some truly lost souls in her book that she's been trying to find a match for. And in addition to those particular services, she tends to read clouds, dreams, try and predict sort of an outcome. She's a bit of a fortune teller. She peddles flowers, teas, and other beautiful things that may be fleeting in the moment, but who doesn't need a little bit of prettiness in her life, in their life? We don't know. And in this particular case, she knows and is very well aware of the language of flowers and crystals. And she can tell you exactly what your flowers may mean if you were to give them to a loved one. She may be a little bit stingy on what you should be giving out. She has a certain way she likes to hold herself and how she believes things should be done. Might not necessarily be the only way, but she believes it's the right one. And of course, she's a bit of a gossip. She didn't get into this business for zero benefit. She likes hearing the stories, and although it fills her heart with joy finding potential matches for the various folks that she helps along her way, she's very invested in hearing the different stories others may have to tell. What prey does she look like? Well, Clementine is a common genet. If you've never heard of these animals, they're very cat-like looking creatures. They have long tails and spotted bodies, but their eyes are wide and circular, and their snouts are more pointed, and their ears are more curved. In this case, she is gray with black spots and occasional stripes and large dark eyes on her face. She's wearing a shawl around a patchwork dress that she says that is sort of a bit of a personal project of hers. She likes quilting and she has done some of that on her own dress. So although it doesn't seem to have a cohesive pattern, each of the patches has a story. If you ever ask her about them, she'd love to tell you. And she, of course, because she is indeed a lady, she has a very wide floral hat that may have once been grand a few years ago, perhaps a bit out of style, but she likes the fanciness it gives her. She has only recently met her friends on this journey, but they looked particularly lost. And as a peddler with a beetle of her own, her beetle's name is. This is her beetle. If it
Sure, it can be. Yeah,
right,
definitely.
it's just like I'm still familiarizing myself a bit with the playbook, and then in the playbook it mentions that the peddlers have an animal that peddles their woods, their wares. In this case, um, perhaps I'm misreading this. Maybe I'm misreading this. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
Oh
fine.
no, I do have a sturdy, resolute beetle. Yep.
All
Okay.
right. This can be your beetle.
I did not. This was impromptu. And the beetle's name is Madeline. Her name is Clementine, and the beetle's name is Madeline.
I love it.
And I think that is all that needs to be said at this moment in time.
Sounds good. As we pan from Clementine's visage, we move over to one other character. Ophi, would you like to describe your character? What playbook are you playing to start off?
Uh, I'm playing from the Vagabond playbook, and my character is Kragan Reginald. He, him pronouns. Uh, and he is a turkey. Uh, he has like a grayish blackish face with black feathers, with some like tail feathers of like a little bit of brown with some white and red touches on it. Uh, but he has this black velvet cloak on him, and he's wearing this pilgrim hat with this brown strap with gold buckle, with a matching belt that loops around his large waist with and gold buckle with that. And on that, in that buckle is strapped in like wanted posters showing his own face of like him. Uh, and he is in one hand he has a rusty spade. Uh, as the vagabonds are, well, the world's taken everything from him, kind of beat down onto his shoulders, and like he has a very aching heart from his travels. And like he he calls himself a heroic monster. Uh, and he's just, but he's very much just abs. At the same time, he hates kind of being called a traitor or a thief for a lot of, uh, which sorry. When you were doing your thing, were you going through some of the prompts already for yourself? I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. I forgot your name.
Oh, my name is Harmony. I was just,
Harmony.
I may have gone a little bit far off. I was just going through a bit of personal prompts for my character and just sort of went with what felt right, if that makes sense.
Okay, no problem. I wasn't sure how far you were deep going into that. Anyway, so he was Kragan he's was a soldier of the empire that was being rebelled against, and throughout his life is he's had his best friend always with him, which was actually his own shadow that was that was able to be animate and do stuff on its own. Uh, and part of his service, he was as part of a town, like he was watching into it, like an occupied town, and he fell in love with this maiden of the town. And in time, like through this love, it's finding out his commanding officer was watching some things going on, and he learned that this maiden was actually this witch of the rebellion. And and his commanding officer gave him this ultimatum for himself of basically having to stop, like stop this love for him because it's danger, otherwise he'd be a traitor. And with that, he actually came back to her and chose to reject her. And in this rejection, she cursed him, like, and stole his shadow away from him and ran off with the shadow. Uh, Now, soon after, uh, his as part of his time with his troop, uh, their troops' horses were stolen, and it was reported that he had stolen the horses with the witch, and his commanding officer confronted him on it, and Kragan denied it vehemently, claiming that it was his shadow that has ran off with him and ran off. And his commanding officer didn't believe him and he attacked him at that moment. And with this, he had to defend himself and killed his commanding officer. And at this point, he had to run from his companions and troop that he had grown all this time with as part of his military service and run and become an outlaw to fend for himself. Uh, and the only thing he still carries from his time with him is this pink orchid from his troop. That was kind of a symbol of who they were among the Empire. And so now he's just trying to find his way and try to find a new place in this world where he can be at ease again without constantly having to watch out for people accusing him of stealing or being a traitor and accepting him for, well, who he is.
Excellent. I love it. Anything else, Sophie, for your character at the moment?
Uh, I think that's about it for now.
Okay. And then we will turn to our final character that we see before us on this cart, Viara. What playbook are you playing?
I'm going to be playing the Fool.
The Fool.
Yes, life is an adventure, and there's never shame in learning new things. You're alive, and your care is silly, naive, and more profound than most expect. And I've chosen to play Bim, who is an otter.
Ooh.
He's just a silly little guy.
Bim.
Yeah, B-I-M, Bim.
Bim. Excellent.
So he is very lovable and silly. I don't know if he's funny, but he's silly. And he's scared that he may not be useful. He wears bright purple pants that are garish and sort of bell-bottomed. He has a flamboyant yellow hat with multicolored flowers. And then he has a flowing bright green cape. So he's very colorful.
Love it.
And then let's see. Moving down the prompts, let's see. You grew up familiar with chaos and disorganization. The place you are from is a maelstrom or a market. And you don't know a lot about the world. The place you are from is a farm or a tower. So I was thinking he was raised in a little like farm outside of a market area. And most people assume that he was, raised in the wilderness because he's kind of just sort of silly and out there a little bit. And most assumes that most of the people he meet around them don't make any sense to him, but he's a little wiser than they think he is. Let's see. He believes that he is probably of noble birth. He just hasn't found the kingdom where he was, born a noble yet, because he doesn't really remember his true parents. He was sort of raised in a little sort of pack or commune. And yeah, that's Bim in about in a nutshell.
I don't know if you touched on it, but what's the one thing that Bim carries with you?
Oh, the
and
shawl.
one thing you're confident is around here somewhere.
Yes. So the thing that I said that he carries with him is the bright green shawl that was given to him by a traveler who decided that he was the one traveler that saw that, Bim was actually a little more wise and using perhaps the foolishness to hide something deeper. And he's sure that he was born a prince of something, so he will find his purse full of valuables for his ancestry when he finds the proper kingdom where he was truly born.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else, Viara, about Bim?
No, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, there is one more thing, and as you have all heard, we've gotten a little tidbits about each individual character, but now we want to kind of hone in and figure out some prompts that bind these characters a little bit together, or how they might know each other. And what we're kind of doing here is,
Sorry, one quick question. Harmony,
Yep.
what was your character's name again?
Clementine.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, what we have for these characters are playbooks, and those playbooks kind of prompt the players with things to think about their characters, what their characters are doing, and you've heard the various explanations of those prompts. But there's one last bit, and that is the connections. As you ask the player to your right and to your left, as we are in the space of the web, it's not quite that simple as looking over one way or the other, but we will take it back as we have Clementine, Kragan, and Bim. Clementine, we zoom in on you as you are, picking Kragan to your right and Bim to your left. What questions would you like to ask them?
Do I choose specifically from my book?
Yep.
Okay. She turns to Vim on her left and she goes, "Why did we start traveling together all those years ago?"
Bim sort of twitches his whiskers as he thinks about it. He says, "Oh, I know what it was. You thought that I should find true love somewhere, but I think I was sure that I'm just too busy trying to find my true place in my princedom, you see. One of us will be right one day."
One of us will be indeed. I've never had a client quite as persistent as you.
All right.
She turns to Kragan. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, Clagan Reginald.
Clagan. Okay, Clagan.
Clagan. She turns to Clagan and she goes,
Oh, sorry. I apologize. It was Kragan. I am.
Kragan.
I
Oh, okay.
It is. Sorry.
You know, how when the days are long, I do like to unwind after a bit of travel. How could I help you decompress? I have many things in my wares. Perhaps there's something that you favor.
You can also collectively both decide this as well. It doesn't have to be on one person either.
What
Oh,
types
sorry.
of wares did you have again?
I'm a matchmaker, but I carry sorts of things like calming teas and refreshing scents and flowers and soothing crystals that can help you sleep at night. Oh, and I have dream catchers aplenty.
My character, Kragan, really enjoys flowers, especially ones that he can then plant to be able to bloom further.
I always believe that we should spread the love, and perhaps we can do that by spreading roses. I have plenty of flowers in my collection, and maybe we can make this a daily activity. When we rest for the night, we can choose a flower that might thrive well in this area and plant it. I'd appreciate doing that, if that is something you would be interested in.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So then we will go to Kragan. From your playbook, you look to your right and to your left. What are some questions? What are some questions you would like to ask your compatriots?
So, to my left, Clementine. How did we get off on the wrong foot?
She immediately asked about your past lover because, of course, an orchid is signs of passion and love. And that is something that's very fascinating to her.
Amazing.
All right. Yes, that would be definitely getting on the wrong foot. Because that would be a story I would not want to talk about for some time.
And she would think that you're merely a shy view, keeping your view a secret from her. And thus she does not try to set you up with anyone, as she assumes you are already secretly married.
All right. A very forward interaction with Clem, I'm sure.
See, Ophi is a note taker like me.
Trying to be. uh, okay, and so Vin, uh, why do I call you my only friend?
Aw.
Ooh, okay.
Was it just because you got off on the wrong foot with Clementine and no one else was around?
I don't think that's it.
No, you sure? I mean, I did stick up for your privacy, but I was also very curious. Do we have
Well, I'd
something in
really,
common, maybe?
yeah, I think that would probably be more along the lines. I
Maybe,
would definitely appreciate that you'd stick up for my privacy.
oh, maybe since you like to plant the flowers, Ben would be very interested in, whoops, I just punched my mic, I'm sorry. Would be very interested to, like, if we came back through the same path, see how well they grew and, what colors they were, because they were just seeds or little blooms when we first planted them. So we can
Yeah,
bond over
I
nature and flowers together.
yeah, I think I would have talked about how I would like to revisit some of the places we have been in the past, that either plants that we have grown or even just seeing like just how the things we've done then affected things over the years later when we come back.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I just got a message. I forgot to turn off my phone. But yes, definitely Bim would be also interested in seeing the changes in things, because that's not something that he often thinks about, is how things change over time.
Maybe it's that ponderance of that change over time, seeing that growth. You both can commiserate
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Okay. And then we will go to Bim.
So Bim turns to, let's see, if he's on your left, and then you would be on his right? Yeah. Okay. So he turns his right how do left and right work? I can't.
We're in a non-physical space right now.
Right.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So I put the directions in my notes so I wouldn't forget.
I imagine Bim doesn't necessarily need to know his lefts and rights. He just
That's
assumes
true. Yeah.
that the way
He's
he's
just
going
kind
is
of
the right direction.
yeah.
He's like,
You
one
have
of
right
them.
and not
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. So he turns to Clementine, regardless of what side of him she's on, and says, you say I was never had a client quite like me. Why are you so patient with me?
Well, I saw a lost little dog. And I
Oh,
thought,
I'm an otter.
you're an otter. I'm so sorry. I heard doggo in our pre-sessions, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh yes, dog, and then immediately didn't hear anything else.
it's all good.
Hyper focused on dog.
Dog.
It is a
Um,
picture of the cute little I think it's a Samoyed or a Shiba
Yes,
on the
Yeah.
the full
Cool.
character sheet.
Mhm.
Clementine perhaps knew someone in her past that was quite like you.
Oh,
Someone who may have not made it to find love. And although she cannot do right by that person anymore, she wishes to do right by you. And she sees that despite you seem a very flamboyant individual, but you were wandering quite alone when she met you. And she is of the strong standing that no one should ever be alone. And so she's used to answering a lot of hypotheticals and dealing with angry clients or perhaps even over ambitious clients that any questions you may have asked her are not even close to triggering her nerves. Perhaps she may not see fully eye to eye on your philosophy of finding your princedom, but she is fully behind pursuing dreams. And if you have dreamed that you perhaps are a prince, perhaps we can do this. Perhaps you may be.
just need to find the country that I'm a prince of, and then I'll fall in love with the country, right?
Perhaps
That's how
the
it works.
royals there.
Yeah.
And then
Marry into a country. You are a prince. We could find
Yeah.
a royal marriage. I would
That's
love to plan a royal wedding.
maybe, yeah. So he turns over to his other companion and says, "Now, I know there was something I was saying that you said you were getting so tired of hearing me say. What was that?" My thought was something to the effect of, since Kragan was you said he was involved in the previous, big conflict and war. It could be something like whenever he's telling a war story, Bim is like, "That's so interesting," or like, "I wish I was there," or something. Just like sort of trivializing it or something like that.
Okay.
Or what sort of other things could you think of that would like really, get on Kragan's nerves? Feel like
I
asking
would
about a
say
sore
that,
subject, or sorry, go ahead.
no, that if so, when I would tell stories of the war and stuff like that, you would keep trying to ask me about various other people in my times for that, and you would actually interrupt me telling the story to ask details about these other people.
Oh,
And
sure,
sometimes
sounds
there's
like
people
me.
I wouldn't want to talk about as well for reasons.
I have news. Bim might be a little ADHD. You write what you know, fam.
So you would often ask more about the specific people when the story wasn't about them
Right.
specifically.
I
Or
like it.
it kind of was, but I wouldn't want to tell you about them.
Right. Like, no, that's not the point, Bim. Hold on.
Right. You were getting into the details when that wasn't the task
Yeah.
at hand.
And while I would actually love to tell you those stories, in general, I wouldn't necessarily want to tell you details about those people.
Right. I like it.
Okay.
All right. So we have our kith assembled in the cart. You all are on to your next destination, but the road is long and the journey has just begun. You don't have to answer now, but do any of you have a place you're ultimately trying to get to? I know Kragan touched on it a little bit, but it could also be, you know, something you don't know yet, something your kith doesn't know yet, and that's okay.
Clementine, um, although she doesn't have a particular place in mind, she does have a stopping point. Her journey would end when she matched a very specific client. This is a client that she's been trying for many, many years to match and has not been able to do so successfully. If she were to see this person matched, the place where she finds their match would be her home.
Okay.
And then Bim is just searching for his true home, where he was born, the prince. So where his inheritance, his bag of purse full of valuables from his inheritance would be waiting there for him from his true parents.
So Bim is all about the money, eh?
No, he just wants to rule. It's different. See,
Gotcha.
I think what he wants really is to have that many people like not worshiping him or something, but like supporting him and paying attention to him maybe.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm deeply imagining Bim's treasure being just a stack of beach balls.
Yes. Oh my gosh, have you ever seen an otter with a beach ball? It's so good. So where are we going from
I
now,
mentioned
guide? Oh, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead,
I
Ophi.
mentioned before a little bit that I'm trying to find a peaceful life, really. Someplace that I could just kind of be myself and not have to worry about my past.
Peace is important.
excellent. These are all great destinations that we can always strive for, and maybe who knows? Maybe we'll hit, or maybe we'll start to unravel the beginnings of these endpoints. Um, so we start in the season of leap, um, with the first being the first season of the year. And the first season of the year, so each season, there are 5 seasons in the Haeth. You have Leap, Bright, Breathe, Slit, and Chill being the last season. Each season kind of covering as you go into spring, summer, autumn, and winter, if you think about it that way. And each season is comprised of 2 kind of sub seasons of this arc of the year, if you will. And we start in the first arc of that of till soil. There we go. A nice little handy guide there. Yes.
Neat.
As you all are traveling down a sunny days, a clear sky, sunny and a little breezy. The wind, again, against your fur, your scales, uh, and you see what appears to be a settlement on the horizon. Um, and this will be a little bit of a shorter session today as we kind of finish up with our character creation, but I'll leave you with this. The settlement sits on the horizon as you speed trotting towards it. But what lies in store? We will see as we enter into our journey next time. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all next week here at All on the Table. But before we go, I do want to pass it to all of our wonderful players. Viara, do you have anything you would like to plug today?
Yeah, I'm doing my first ever subathon donathon starting Friday. What month is it? March 1st. it's one of the M ones, not May, March. Friday, March 1st. I'll be starting my first subathon donathon, and that'll last for the first 2 weeks of March. I have all kinds of fun goals and things. I'll be probably drinking pilk. It'll be terrible.
Pilk. Oh goodness. Okay.
Pepsi plus milk.
Yep.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Thank you.
All right. And where can we find you again?
Oh, right. Twitch.tv/ViaraVT.
Awesome. Awesome. And we will go to Ophi. Anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, I do have my own. Well, currently I'm not that active on it, but soon to be I will. I do have my own Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, and it's just Ophi Draco on all of those.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I am in process of actually making my own tabletop RPG as well. And I'm
Fun.
hoping to soon start doing some play testing with that. So
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to hear more about it.
Yeah.
And you said they can find you at Ophi Draco at YouTube and Twitch as well?
as well as Kick, yes.
As well as Kick. Excellent. Excellent. All right. And Harmony.
Well, Harmony has nothing to say, but Clementine has a pitch to make. Clementine is looking for potential clients. If you so desire, you can reach out to my broker, Phantom, on Discord. That is Phantom Spectre on Discord. If you have any characters or kits that you would like Clementine to potentially to try to matchmake as we go along our journey, I would love to see any characters you may have. I'm going to be making a booklet of a couple of random sort of personnel she may have run into, but if you want a chance, not necessarily, you might not be featured, but it can be a fun little role-playing thing where she tries to say, hey, this particular person may be interested in this character we've run into, and thus will pitch your character's appeal to them.
I love it.
I don't want to go too far, but it's just, I think it could be a fun experience to engage your viewers. If you have a character in mind, feel free to either post it here in the Twitch chat, I'll look it over, or reach out to me on Discord. Obviously it has to be PG-13. Make sure your character is table appropriate, but other than that, go wild. Clementine takes all and any clients, including recently deceased.
Oh, I see.
Well, hey, you've heard it here. Clementine hijacking the stream a little bit.
Sorry.
Reach out to Clementine, and let's get some matchmaking going. It'll be a good time. And as for me, I am Trev. I am your hopefully fearless leader, your guide through this journey into the Haeth. We'll be back next week. You can find me at Trev Tells Tales, pretty much anywhere, or mostly everywhere, I should say. Feel free to hit me up if you want to just chat, talk about TTRPGs or Wanderhome. I'm really into the system, and I'm really excited to showcase this with my wonderful cast as we get started. And also feel free to check out my graphic novel, Another Kind. It's It's really cool story about cryptids, about found family. Yeah. But that's all for us right now. But we'll see you next week for more journeys into the Haeth. Thank you, everyone, and we'll
Bye.
see you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.